Today, I'm talking about some old school advertising topics like top of mind awareness and frequency, and how your firm could be missing massive opportunities by failing to effectively stay in front of prospects using modern day advertising channels. When the market corrects, and we all know it's coming, will prospects think of your firm when they are considering a change? With what feels like unlimited options to communicate with clients and prospects, how do you know where to spend your time, money, and resources to attract new clients? My name is Craig Hall, and I am the owner at Marketing Wiz. I work with RIA owners, founders, managers, and executives to help them create and execute marketing campaigns in a digital world. It feels like that somewhere along the way, we seem to have lost the role of advertising in the marketing discussion. Hey, listen, I'm guilty of it, and I started my career in advertising. Heck, my job in advertising was where I first fell in love with marketing. My first job in the industry was with Clear Channel Radio, selling radio ads. And in those days, we talked a lot about things like reach, frequency, audience, and top-of-mind awareness. Today we talk a lot about audience and reach, but seem to focus very little attention on the role of frequency and top of mind. I'm not 100% sure why this is, but it could be because we all feel a little overwhelmed by the massive amount of messages being thrown at us from every direction, every day, and we don't want to overwhelm our clients and prospects. It could be that maybe we don't want to feel like we're part of what we see as the problem in marketing and advertising. But here's the problem and the opportunity as I see it for wealth management and financial firms around the country. First, the problem. So many of us spend a lot of our time and money developing content to post on our websites, but then we fail to adequately promote it. How many of us have written a white paper or some other great resource for clients and prospects, posted it on our website, sent out a message via email, posted it on social media, and then we moved on to the next resource? I sure know that this is something that is a huge missed opportunity for all of us. The biggest disappointment in any business development or client development opportunity or relationship is when you meet with a prospect that fits your firm's criteria. You build a great connection with him or her. You connect on LinkedIn or Facebook. You've had great phone discussions. You've had great face-to-face meetings. It seems like the stars are aligned. He or she's definitely going to become a client of the firm. And in 6 months, this individual signs on with one of your competitors. What? How does this happen? Well, it's business, and this happens. But could it be because we failed to stay top of mind by staying in front of him or her until he or she was in a buying or decision-making mode? The buying and or decision-making process, especially in wealth management and financial services, takes time. We know it's a relationship business. Relationships are not built overnight. But when we see this happen, it breaks our heart. The stages of that buying cycle, let's revisit those for a minute. We've all heard of them through our career, but let's look at initial interest is exhibited in some way. People do research. That's when they start to maybe talk with a various amount of firms or go online. And then the consideration phase. Now, this can go on for quite a while. But this is the phase where we've really got to make extra effort to keep in front of them so that way when they get to that last stage, the decision stage, they think of us. Even for clients who are members of the firm and signed with the firm, there's a continual loop where you constantly need to stay in front of them via great service, for one, and fresh thinking so they don't become ex-clients. We have more opportunity than ever to connect and stay in front of people using online advertising networks, but we so often fail to effectively take advantage of them. I want us to take a minute and revisit some fundamentals of marketing and advertising. One, who's the target audience? 2, what's the message? Now, this assumes that we have a product or service that the target audience wants, needs, or desires, which I know for those of you who are listening and running wealth management and RIAs, we have a great product and service that the clients and prospects and the marketplace wants and needs. And what's the goal? What do we want the individual to do? Yes, become a client or remain a client if they're already one, but how do we engage them continually over time so that your firm is top of mind? In the beginning, I talked about a few topics like reach, frequency, audience, and top of mind. Audience, let's take that one first. Though it may seem to be self-explanatory, you need to spend some time really defining your audience or audiences. This includes different investor personas that include income levels, age, geography, gender, personal and professional interests, and other important characteristics. You should have more than one identified audience, and we'll talk about that in upcoming episodes. Reach. This references the size of the audience. In traditional media, it's measured in total listenership, viewership, or readership. Let's take the radio example. So for radio, you might have 100,000 listeners during drive time on your local rock station. If you're running a spot during this time, your reach is 100,000. In a social digital world, we start to get overwhelmed by the massiveness of the potential reach. Truth is, the world is our oyster. We, in theory, can reach all the billion-plus users on Facebook, even though we know that that is not realistic or even beneficial to our firms. Let's move on to top of mind and frequency and how they're intimately connected. Top of mind refers to the prospect's recall of your firm's name, product, service, offering, and perceived value during the consideration phase as they move toward the decision-making process. Basically, are we staying in front of him or her enough so they will think of you when they move into that buying or decision-making mode? I know we all hate, or at least I do, hate car dealerships or furniture store advertising, but each of us can rattle off one or two local car dealerships and furniture stores we would actually consider visiting when we're looking to do some research on getting a new car or furniture for our homes. Chances are right now, very few of us listening are in what we call a buying mode for a car or a piece of furniture. But when we do, and that moment comes, advertising kicks in and we think of a handful of brands and dealerships in our local market that we would go in and talk and explore and talk pricing and features and just understand what they've got. And they're continually advertising with the idea that when that moment comes that we are ready, we think of them. So this is where frequency comes in. Frequency is the number of times an individual will see, hear, read, or experience your firm's message. Traditionally, we've referred to this rule of 7, which says that an individual will need to be exposed to your message 7 times before he or she is ready to make a decision. This is something I'm currently spending some time doing new research on because things have radically changed and they continue to drastically change, and I'm inclined to believe this number is higher. I'll let you know what I find in upcoming episodes, and we're also going to talk about what we consider to be a law of diminishing return, where we start to see waste and cause damage to our advertising by overexposing our message. But let's just close on this idea of frequency and effective frequency. Wikipedia definition of effective frequency is, in advertising, the effective frequency is the number of times a person must be exposed to an advertising message before a response is made and before exposure is considered wasteful. Today, we have a number of different communications, or shall we say advertising channels, to reach individual clients and prospects. And I opened this segment with the idea that wealth management advertising needs a boost. We don't even talk in terms of advertising. We don't use that word in day-to-day marketing strategy, and we talk in terms of email, social media, text message, target digital ads, website, print, radio, sponsorship, billboards. But these are really advertising channels, and the content we're producing needs to be put in front of people. So the question really becomes, how often and how long do you need to keep your message in front of people during the consideration phase so that when they're ready to make a decision and sign on with a new firm, they think of your firm? Over the next couple episodes, we're going to spend more time on this topic, and I would love to hear from you. What do you want to hear more about? What are you wrestling with? Send me an email at chall@marketingwiz.co and let me know what topics you want me to cover in upcoming episodes. Thank you for listening and have a great day.